The irony of this presentation is that I'm here to talk to you guys about parenting, but I don't have any kids myself. So I've kind of broken down parenting from past experiences. I work at a residential treatment center, and so I've taken some experiences from that center, and I've kind of concluded that if parents take a more proactive approach, I suppose, towards their parenting methods, they wouldn't find that their kids are landing in residential treatment centers and looking for more help. So I took parenting and I broke it down into two components, love and logic. So with logic, we want our kids to think for themselves. We want our kids to be critical thinkers. We want our kids to be able to express themselves, to be able to make decisions on their own. And at the same time, as parents, we want to be there to support our kids, but our kids they're going to have tendencies to kind of push back and say, no, you know what, I want to make this decision on my own. And that's okay. So letting our kids kind of logically think about their own problems, logically make decisions by themselves, that's fine. And the reality of it is that our kids are going to fail. So we want to try to encourage an environment where our kids can fail, but with very minimal consequences, because that is a time in their life where they can fail and learn from their experiences. And so the second component is love. So when our kids do fail, we want to pick them up with love. We want to be empathetic with them. We want to encourage them that it's okay that you've done this. It's okay that you've failed. It's okay that the way that you thought that would turn out didn't turn out that way. So both of these are critical. Parents try to implement these by themselves. You can't just use a logical factor when you're dealing with your kids. You can't just smother your kids with love. I believe that both of them go hand in hand, and when combined properly, you get a very good outcome with your teenagers. So with both of these being critical to being an effective parent, a good parent, it's important that we understand that this is a critical time in our kids' life as well. So I think that some high-risk times are when kids are preteens and teenagers. That's when kids are exposed to outside influences. They could potentially fall into addiction, as we just talked about, promiscuity, some unsafe sexual practices, and again, violence. So with these, it's important to understand as parents that these mistakes may happen, but if we take a logical and love-based approach with our children and we kind of work through these problems with our kids, then these problems are not likely to stem into larger issues with our children. And lastly is our children are really a reflection of us. So, and we are a reflection in our children. So we want to look at our children, and we want to look at ways that we want to influence their life in a positive manner. We want to be able to teach them and help them understand the difference between right and wrong. But I think a lot of that starts when you look at yourself. You need to be able to look at yourself, and you need to be able to have a firm foundation before you start a family. So working at a residential treatment center, I do work with a lot of troubled youth. I see the broken connections between parents and children, and a lot of the times love or logic is lost in that connection somewhere down the road. And so that's why parenting, of all things, I'm not saying parenting is easy at all, but I am saying that when you are able to take a step back as a parent and you are able to analyze your children and say, you know what, we need to take a more logical approach this way, or follow their failures and say, you know what, it's okay that you failed this way, then I believe that we will be able to be better parents.